Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, we're playing some Last Epoch. We're having some fun. We're answering some questions. Welcome. Glad to have you with us. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Mike. I work on Last Epoch. I have for 6 years now? 7 years now? It's been a long time. Love it. And I'm here to answer your questions. We stream for charity. Everything from stream goes to the charity above my head. Right now it's Child's Play. They do great stuff. Yeah, if you have a question for me, please put @Last Epoch Game in the chat to grab a question. I do have someone coming to feed me the questions from chat directly. Just gonna be a little bit late, so it might take me a minute before I answer any YouTube questions. I'll see if I can switch over to that chat. I don't know how, but welcome from YouTube too. And we've got a raiding party to start things off with, and a sub medic. I'm not playing controller today, sorry. We are working on upgrading our. Oh, let's get these. We are working on switching over to fire build, and like a fool, I burned my 2LP dragon song that I found last stream, because I kinda forgot that you had to be tier 2 in the prophecies or in the dungeons to get the guaranteed selection of which one, and I was just going too fast. I was trying to I'm like, oh, I got 5 minutes before stream, I can do this, and I just bricked it like just minutes ago. So I'm still reeling from that. It's entirely my fault, just going too fast. Yeah, that's all the housekeeping here. Give some questions. I hope season 2 is going well for everyone. I'm very excited for season 3 already. It's oh, come on. Okay, let's get some questions here. Any plans for adding more weapon types for spellcasters? Seems like there are so many options for melee classes, but only a couple for spells. Yeah, I think there's naturally, I think, a lot more options for like weapon types for like martial characters. So like bows and like range characters and like bows and crossbows and things like that. And there's like for melee options, there's so many options for melee. There's so many different like distinctions of weapons. I think we're more familiar with them in general. I feel like there's definitely room for new caster options, like wand, staff. Those are kind of your go-to options in most fantasy things. But there's definitely room for others. I'm not sure what that looks like exactly yet. Oh. Some interesting ones there. Ooh, let's check this out. Yeah, I don't know what we put for spellcaster weapon types, new spellcaster weapon types. Like I think we mean like overarching types, like so not just like different types of wands, but like instead of wand, staff, mace. What do you put there? Sometimes there's like you see wizards and mages use swords and have them be magical channeling objects. Like that's pretty common too, and we do that as well. I don't know what you'd put in there from like a weapon slot, because so many other magical channeling things, like you put in like a catalyst slot or a relic slot or a ring slot. But like, what else goes in a weapon slot, really? Does chat know? Yeah, don't forget to put @Last Epoch Game for questions in chat, so I'll read them. Have you guys thought about adding an infinite push mode like D3 Greater Rifts? I mean, we kind of do have that with corruption, right? It wouldn't have to be super rewarding, just something to push leaderboards with friends or alone. I mean, or the arena, the endless arena. Every level could be static. For example, level 42 would be the Dreadnought, Eternal Mobs. I see what you're saying. We don't have a static system for it, but we do have like a couple different dynamic ones. I can see that being fun though. So I like the idea. Sometimes the differences in endgame modes can be pretty subtle, and still be a lot of fun. Right. I gotta change my loot filter to be more about fire than physical, because right now it's like I don't care about fire. Should have done that before. Are we going to see skill sigils in season 3? I have no information about skill sigils at all. It is a I can't say anything about other than the fact that it has been revealed on a roadmap. The name has been on a roadmap. That's basically all I can say about it. All right, with the success of the open source game Beyond All Reason, I have not read anything about this. What are your thoughts on games being open source with a studio backing it? Well, I mean, in general. So I think that there's no context at all. I would love to. It sounds very interesting. I will definitely be reading up on this though. Oh, I got a message from someone. Yeah. Sorry. Why's my desktop background? Delete that note. Beyond All Reason. Okay, I will look that up after stream because that sounds cool. It's basically just like a formalized like almost modding system, I assume, where like people are creating the game. It's almost what like an old heavily modded game ends up being in a sense. Which I think is tons of fun. I mean, I think like with the recent the re-release of Morrowind Remastered, or the release like there's a bunch of Morrowind stuff happening right now. It's on sale, but there's like the big Morrowind project, big mod Morrowind project that I don't know the name of, and I'm sorry. That sounds super cool. And then the re-release or the remaster of it or something. I think that's a really good example of a game that sort of like was taken probably in the similar direction. I'm not making much sense at all here, but I don't have much context on what the ability is. In general, I love the idea of having these projects because a lot of people have really great ideas, and they don't really necessarily have the framework to express those ideas in a game setting. And like mods, and I assume an open source game creation system similar to what you're describing, would facilitate that really well. I think it's really cool. I love it. In general, I'm very pro like sharing game development techniques and systems, like engines and things like that, being as open as possible. I think is really great. I mean, people who make those things need to have ways to monetize that to make it worth their time. But like, the more tools we can get for creating games, the better. My goodness. What? Okay. Just pick all these up. We'll deal with it later. And we're back. We've got questions being funneled in now. Wonderful. Guns win. I say guns in Last Epoch are extremely unlikely. Just the structure of how like the universe is made and how like the world building is all set up. I say it's very, very unlikely to happen in Last Epoch. I don't want to say impossible, but I wouldn't expect it. If you're like, I need to have guns. Yeah, it's talking of ranged classes though, are there any unrestricted any chance to unrestrict the bow to a single class? I think there's a good chance of us doing some way of having bow access elsewhere other than just on rogue. Exactly what that looks like and how that shakes out, I don't know. There's a couple different ways we could do that. There's like the big restriction is that you need abilities to go with the weapon type. So if a class didn't have any ability to dual wield and had a dual wielding ability go with it, would be kind of bad, right? It's kind of the inverse of that, where if you have access to bows but no bow abilities, it's kind of useless, right? So I think we need to have either a bow that gives a bow ability to someone, or like make new abilities at the same time. And so that's a pretty big undertaking. I think the two classes that are most well suited for something like this would be Primalist and Sentinel. I don't think that's a controversial idea. I'd really like to see it in Sentinel personally, but I think Primalist is the more popular option. There's nothing set in stone of like, hey, we're going to be doing it, and hey, we're going to be doing it in this way type thing yet. But I think there's enough request for it that there's a good chance it'll happen at some point. Have you guys thought about adding an infinite put? Oh, yeah, it's that. With this six, oh, it's this. What am I doing here? I feel like maybe adding more bosses like Aberoth with different loot drops would be nice. Is that something we could see? I mean, yeah, we're always looking at adding new bosses. Like Aberoth is a fixed difficulty content boss, which is really good for landmarking progress. And we added a few of those in season 2. I think there's definitely room, especially with Woven Echo's system, to add in more fairly easily. Or just having them be part of like new chapter content and having them appear in the end game after that sort of thing, or possibly like in specific monolith expansions. And there's definitely different ways to add in new, like through dungeons as well. And we are always looking at adding new bosses. Boss design's a lot of fun, and we tend to gravitate towards adding the things that are fun to work on. I think that's natural. We do work hard to have a balanced approach and design things that are so it's best for the game, but I think naturally people are like, they come up with ideas for things that they like designing the most.
The judges will find you.
We've kind of got to look at these right now. I don't even know why I'm grabbing these or not. We are in a cemetery. I should go in here instead of wandering around. As for weapons for mages, how about stones? Kind of like magical bullets. I think this, yeah. So I think that kind of bleeds into the realm of an ability, right? Like, is the stone the thing that is creating the attack? Or is the ability the thing that's creating the attack? And you just need like a bag of stones to make it work. I feel like that's, like, that feels kind of relic-y to me. Like, what weapons I think feel like they should, upon picking up that weapon, anyone should be able to kind of utilize it to do something in that action. So like, I don't know, if the mage itself is the one that's creating the magic to cause these stones to do things, it feels a little off to me. It feels more like an ability than the weapon type. It's a cool idea for an ability though. Thoughts on making Shroud of Obscurity an all class unique so low life rogue builds can make use of it. The Exsanguinous is the class unrestricted version. It was specifically, Shroud of Obscurity was specifically made as a Acolyte only version of that, just to get those builds started earlier, and just have some an alternate version that you could choose from if you wanted to. Exsanguinous originally started out as a backer unique. Oh, Ziz, wasn't it? I think. Scroll down on chat. Is it Ziz? Someone make sure I'm not crazy here. He made the squirrel helm, yeah. But didn't he make Xanguinus too? It was someone like that. You excited for the new PoE 1 League? I do not think I'm going to have time in my schedule to play this one, unfortunately. I'm always excited to see what they do. So yes, I am excited. I'm excited from a designer standpoint, not from a player standpoint, just because I haven't got the time, just in the way the timing's going to line up with stuff happening in my real life. I just won't have time to do it, which sucks. Ziggy D. It was Ziggy D that did it. Content creator, Zed name. I was close. Sorry for mixing you guys up. Saying it was Ziggy, yeah. Confirmation there, thank you. Nothing for me? Ugh, gross. Ugh, ugh, ugh. All right, we'll be getting any Necromancer minion leaks today. No, I don't have any Necromancer minion leaks today. I'm sorry. What's your personal favorite part about LE, and what do you think needs improvement the most? Ooh, that's a tough question. I have a tough time prioritizing what needs improving because I find myself being very biased. The things that I like to work on. My favorite part is the it's my favorite part is the skill system. Skill build crafting, I think is the favorite part about my LE for me. Just getting to dig into all the options, that sort of stuff. What are we gonna put down here? Where is, yeah, let's do one of these. And let's do some of these. Oh, this one. Put that up there. And sure, let's do one of these. Why not, right? And let's do one of those. And we're gonna slap this thing. Actually, it's a pretty good one for us, for what we're building. Let's just leave it. Here we go. What do I think needs improvement the most? I think it's a lot in the balancing, the end game balancing. That's probably where we can put the most work in for improvement at this point. I think. Dark Quiver needs to scale off of attack speed. The use speed for Dark Quiver needs to scale off attack speed. So bad. So bad. Alright. Any plans to create more items like Clever Solution? Okay, int equals strength. I think there's room for attribute bending options. Specifically, I think it would be less int strength because we already have one like that. And I think it would be more like do a vitality attunement one or something. I don't know. I think having multiple, that would actually be a bad idea. I think having multiple of them with different pairs would be interesting. But I doubt we'd do more of the same pair, really. Good evening, Mike. If you were tasked to put a new damage type in the game with given requirement that it had to be a unique idea, something that's not seen elsewhere, while still aligning with the theme and the aesthetic of the game. Would you have a damage type to pick? Oof. For myself, it would be some type of mind rot or life agony based theme. Like a damage type. So we're talking. Wow, my phone thinks I'm talking to it right now. We're talking like one of these things, right? Well, I can tell you the damage type that we left out and had the most like almost made it in type thing, which was holy damage, as sort of the antithesis for void damage, kind of and necrotic damage too at the same time. So I think that would right now we do holy theming through fire and lightning. It would mean that there's like an original damage type. I mean, I don't know if I can think of one. Maybe. I just kind of wonder how like water is so underrepresented in general. Like it's almost like physical usually. Like a mind damage, like a mental damage. I think that would be the mental damage is probably the thing. Some sort of like psychic damage. What do I mean? Mental damage, psychic damage. That's probably the option, isn't it? Mind rot, life agony. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the same thing. I don't know that. Yeah, I think psychic damage would be the thing. Any news on an updated roadmap for season 3-4? No, I don't have any info on an updated roadmap. I would like one though. I think that would be very useful. I don't know why we haven't updated it yet. Maybe because the timing between season 2 and season 3 is actually going to be pretty reasonable, so it's less necessary. I would still assume we would do a roadmap update though. Is there a new lich? Is the new lich skill finished? No, it's not finished. Any information on what it kind of does? I can't really share much about it yet. I'm sure we'll be doing a full deep dive on it once it's a little bit more finished. the base functionality's in, and the tree's designed, and it's being implemented right now. The tree is being worked on. Surprised that angle didn't show up on my filter.
Easy. Too easy.
Looked like a good one. All right, yo, is there going to be a mid-season patch? I mean, like a content update mid-season? No, we're just, I think we've got probably a couple more hotfixes maybe. Any like little bug fixes, stuff like that. There was one this morning, I think. And that's about it. But no content. All the new content will be coming in season 3.
Easy.
Are there plans given the to give a graphics option to lessen the graphical clutter, making some builds unplayable? For example, Tornado Shaman. Also, option for multiplayer to turn off other people's graphics. This is something we get requested every once in a while, is the ability to turn off other people's VFX stuff. I think that's probably the more likely of the options. But yeah, this is a concern, and we do sometimes like make design decisions on like how things are going to function based on how much screen clutter it's going to create and things like that. So this is something that we do take into account quite frequently. Please give me an egg. Please give me an egg. Thank you. I need my foot of the mountain to be awesome. You know what I want is a way to tag one of these to be the thing that opens when you click on an egg. Be like, this is my egg tab, and it always goes. So you can like pick no matter where it's going to default to. You can have a default the egg tab something different. Have like the ability to pick like default normal open, default egg open. Yeah. I know you all want it too. Ooh, what's this? Yeah, piece of candy. Right. Next question. I know the start of the season, Uber Abbey. I know the start of the season. There we are. Uber Abbey kill competition wasn't officially put on by you guys, but definitely added to the hype of the season. Open any plans for EHG to sponsor competition in the future? Yeah, I think there's. So we had always wanted to do things like that, and we just didn't think we had enough like time and bandwidth to organize the event and all sort of stuff. And Ziz kind of took that on, which was it did take that on, not kind of took that on, which was fantastic. And I think it showed us the value of that even more than we already had assumed it was going to be. So I think there's a decent chance that we'll see something like that in the future. I don't have any info on actually if it's going to happen or not, but I'd be surprised if it didn't. In some way. Most of the tools for tracking that came out of. It's great that it happened because a lot of the stuff that we updated for that being even possible was from requests from Ziz being like, I want to be able to track it this way, and we're like, let's figure it out. Where are we? This button. I love Citadel boots, but int is weird on them. I'm still in the habit of doing the transfer button, and so like you may see me open my inventory kind of just on my like whenever I pick up some shards. That's me trying to go for press transfer and forgetting that it auto does it. Will we get in new season finally shattered frozen enemies on death effect? Is that coming? I know it's being worked on. I don't know if that's done yet. That'll either be season 3 or the next big update. I don't know which, but assuming all goes well, it is being worked. I know it's actively being worked on. I've seen an early prototype of it that looked awesome. I think I just don't know if it was like we made it work for this one thing to see as a like proof of concept to see what we want it to look like in game, and then we'll make it work generically, or if that was actually the generic system. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're not doing spears. Should Weaver imprints start working as soon as they are imprinted? I'm not sure if it's a bug or really bad luck, but it feels like newly imprinted items only drop in echoes that respond or replaced in the cemetery after the imprint has been made. Thank you all from HG for making this amazing game. You're welcome. I absolutely love it. Can't stop playing. That's wonderful. That you love it, but you should definitely take breaks in general. The imprint, if there's a restriction on the imprint timing, it would only be on opening the actual echo. So like I'm in this echo right now, and if I change my imprint in this echo, it might not apply until the next echo I opened. But it shouldn't have to be an echo that's like generated after that. Like the information about what's in an echo and the properties that it has are generated when you first enter it, and things like that. Like for the imprinting information isn't stored anywhere, I don't think. So I think it should happen immediately regardless. But if it does have any sort of like snapshotting style effect for timing, it would be on echo start, not echo place in the web. Yeah. I can check that offline. I can't do it right now because I'd end up showing a bunch of code on screen, and I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Any plans for new Uber level end game bosses other than Adroth for season 3? Season 3, I'm not sure if there's actually a new Uber tier boss coming in season 3. There are new bosses coming in season 3, I can tell you that. What brand of beard oil do you use? It's upstairs and I don't know the brand. Oh, I know. It's just a brand of the oil base. So I use a jojoba oil base. I don't know the brand of that. It's like Jojoba. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyways, and then I just go to like a store that sells essential oils, and you kind of just pick a few you like. I don't know the names of any of them. I'm just like, that smells nice. Put a couple drops of each of these things in. Way cheaper to do it that way. Probably doesn't. It's probably not as like nice as professionally made ones. It gets the job done. And I like it. Alright. What am I supposed to do with my lizard tail? It seems like it has no use. I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Do it use with what? You don't have it used for what? I'm confused. That doesn't look like anything to me. You are now on Unity 2022, are working your way towards 2025, or how does that go? Well, Unity's actually back to their original number naming scheme. So the new version of Unity is actually called Unity 6 now. And so we went from like Unity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we jumped to, I think, 2016? Is that when they switched to that number? I don't know what happened. 2016, 2017, somewhere in that range. And then we went by year up until this year, which is now Unity 6. So, but yes, we are looking towards going to Unity 6. When we jumped to the current version, most of the things that change don't have to change again to go to Unity 6, so it's much faster transition period. So yeah, we are definitely updating to Unity 6. It's really nice. I quite like it. It's going to let us do even more new things, which is wonderful. The game will look better and run faster and be compatible with more things and be able to use it in new places and on new hardware and all sorts of stuff. Great. I don't have an ETA when that'll happen though, so but it will be way faster than last time, because last time took almost a year. Oh, hello, how you doing? Could you have slingshots as weapons? You could have slingshots as weapons, yes. An offhand quiver, but bag of rocks would be amazing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like the idea of a slingshot as a weapon type. It almost feels so thematically similar to a bow that like it feels like almost just like a unique bow. But maybe not. Maybe it can fit its whole weapon type. Maybe it can be. Can you use bow? Is it like bow or slingshot? You know, you can use like a sword or an axe for swipe. Can you use a bow or a slingshot for puncture? You know, that sort of thing. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think crossbows are probably higher on the list than slingshots for something like that. But I love the idea. There's a game, one of my favorite games of all time, Dark Cloud for the PlayStation 2. Must be PlayStation 2. Had the second character the first character you unlock after your starting character use slingshots, and one of their upgraded slingshots was Steve, who talked to you and was quite sassy. Or Super Steve was sassy, yeah. Oh man, I love that game. So yeah, I got a soft spot for slingshots. Filling up that dump tab already, that's not good. Thanks, Kane. All right, is this the only time you're allowed to play? No. definitely not. I do have quite a busy schedule outside of work, so it's I don't have a ton of time to play. I was playing last night though. Got an hour in before bed, which was nice. But I do like, I'll spend. It's kind of like, does it count as playing if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna test this node that I'm implementing, and like I'll take 20 minutes to test it and make sure it's working in all these different scenarios. Like, does that count as playing? Not really. The game is technically running. All right. Have you considered a Helldiver's approach regarding seasonal quests? For example, week 2, kill 20,000 Harbingers, win 10% XP gain, or plus item for each chest you open. Fail quest, gain minus 10% penalty. So yeah, the by the Helldiver's approach, I assume you mean like a group effort approach, where it's like the entire game collectively doing something. That was another game that I didn't get a chance to play fully. Just sort of listened to it happening, which was really cool. What was going on when that launched? Something was going on when that was launching. I think we were launching. We were really busy at work when that was happening. That was like really popping off. All my friends were playing it. I'm like, I want to come play. But as for like group quest things like that, like server wide quests, I would love to do that. I think it'd be awesome. Planet Side, that was another one that did stuff like that. Tried that for a little bit. Guild Wars 2 did some stuff kind of like that as well. In like the world PvP stuff. Kinda. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think like having these server-wide metrics for specific things to unlock is a really cool way to build community on it. And that's always stuff that we're interested in doing. So love the idea. All right. Oh, I didn't even look at if we got anything. We're gonna find out. Boots. 2. We'll take them. Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah. Don't care about anything else. But we will take those boots and be happy for them. I gotta find something to put on them. I could probably just put my boots on them, really. Find something better than that. Well, what do we want on there? Oh, I just looked over and saw the stream on time delay and thought something was attacking me and got quite scared for a moment. Oh, let's find out what we're doing. What do we put on those boots? We're looking for... Yeah, I just moved speed. That's what I thought. Classic. Any plans to implement parental stash categories? I see what you're saying. I love what's being done with the to differentiate my COF stuff, or better highlight when searching, plus maybe an equipable regex. Yes, if you've got ideas for things you'd like to see in stash updates, that is definitely information we're taking. Suggestions channels are very open for things like that right now. The parental categories, the categories really don't have much info in them right now. We could expand them. All the information is actually in the tabs, and the categories kind of populate. Like the categories don't know what's in them. The categories just know they exist and what order they're in, and then the tabs know which category they're in and where they sit in that category. So the categories are kind of dumb right now, for lack of a better term. Like it's a good idea, but like they they don't think for themselves. Oh, come on. I think that there's definitely room for more power in the category level stuff. Oh, nice. Don't actually want that as like I've got something similar already. Do we care? I don't think we care about the smoke bomb levels. And we could probably roll this mana into something better. Please? Or not? Hey, we'll take that. Can we get some like health on some flat health on this or something? Yeah, just 2-1. I don't know if that's an upgrade. Okay. Should we roll something onto these boots? Movement speed's gonna show up every single boot. There's a is that 7? That is 7. That's a high T7. It's kind of all you want, isn't it? T6, isn't it? Yeah. Is there better stuff? Not really. Could re-roll that. Maybe get some better stuff on it. Vitality. Res. Sure. Why not? Let's go all the way. Let's get. Sorry. I feel like I should be answering questions while I'm doing this instead of just playing. I get zoned in sometimes. All right. Any chance we could see a throwing specific weapon subtype in the near future? Kind of like a kunai dagger or something. Unlikely. So we talked about dagger specific throwing weapons before. And I think that it is... So all the throwing abilities are balanced around throwing weapons not being a thing. So if we were to add throwing weapons into the game, we would have to rebalance all those. So it's not a, I think that one of the misconceptions with this request frequently is that it is a, hey, if I get this, it's just going to be, there's not going to be a nerf on the back end as well. So it's, it would be a give and take if we added something like this. And I think that it gives throwing abilities the ability to be a hybrid damage option a lot easier if there's not a specific focus damage weapon type for it, if that makes any sense. We're gonna max out our crit strike avoidance anyways, so I think we'd rather have something else. Just stack some resistances. Okay, one of those. We'll put one of those on. Let's put these away. No room for anything. Ah, but I need room. Who's the joker that made this algorithm, huh? It was me. I'm an idiot. Last week you mentioned Sentinel was supposed to be female. Is it feasible you would get both genders for each class like in D4? Yeah, so Sentinel was originally female. The Knight was originally female, and when we changed it to the Sentinel, we made it a male character instead. The fun fact, the Rogue? Crap, either the Rogue or the Acolyte was meant to kind of just be ambiguous. We weren't ever going to define it. I can't remember which one. But yes, we do plan on having eventually the goal, long-term goal, is to have like character customization options, including gender, is one of those things. Because it's something that we know that is really important to a lot of players. It's like, it's interesting. Like, try and figure out which gender this class is right now. It's almost impossible. You know, like if there was an alternate gender version of this character, I don't think you'd be able to tell which was which. Like, they would just look exactly the same. But at the same time, for the people that it is important for, it is really important for, and we do want to get that into the game. So that is important. ETA, nah, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's gonna be a while still, probably. We've been talking about it for a long time. Sorry. But yeah, it's something we are hoping to do. We'd really like to. One of those things that it has like knock-on effects for new content in the future. So like it makes making more stuff for the game slower, which sucks. Okay. How do you feel about the state of champion affixes? I love them. I think they're sweet, but I haven't found much use for them beyond the initial leveling stages. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think that and this might be kind of a weird take on this, but I think if set affixes were actually better, they'd be more interesting, because you can do set with champion. And I think that set, just the power level on set in general, is not high enough for that to really be as strong of an option. So I think that because we are going to take a look more at set items to like, we think the system change was really good, which is what we're going for. And we just snuck that in under the wire, so we didn't have a chance to do much to it. But as we add more set items again, which we are looking at doing, just getting that rolling, I think that champion will sort of go hand in hand with that working nicely. My goodness. I popped. It's fine. It's fine. We're going to keep going through there. Looking at various build websites, it appears set... I swear I didn't see this question before. It appears set items and affixes are still seeing limited play. Any chance of changing implementation to make them more useful? I think the like system functionality, as I was just saying, I think system functionality is great. That's probably not going to need much in the way of changes. Really pleased with how that's working. Items themselves, like the power level of those for endgame options, it does need a bit of a bump. And that's going to come in the form of like new sets that are just designed as endgame sets right out of the gate, and as like increasing the power of existing ones as well in certain situations. And I think that'll happen a lot in the sense of picking one set. One of the nice things about set items is that you can pick one set item to make higher level or make higher power. And the whole set, part of the set is still useful at the start of the game, and then as you get to endgame, you can actually use the set affixes from the lower tier ones with the high tier one. All right, Ziggity making his own PoE game. What do you think about it? I did not know he was making his own PoE game. Cool. Like, that's awesome. More games is better. Like his own league? I'm gonna look that one up too. All right, we don't know if anyone has more details on it. I'm interested. Let me know. I'd be happy to hear. If you were to make LE2 someday, oh, I'd love to. So there's so many things that I'd love to do for like a hypothetical someday LE2. Because there's certain things that we did at the start when we were designing LE1 that kind of not really paint us into a corner, but like it's the they're so ingrained in the like DNA of the game that it's hard to change. I'd like the structure of the way classes are set up to be less uniform. So like, I should read the rest of this question. Is there something you would do completely differently from the start compared to LE1? Yes. Okay, that's the question. Great. Yes, I would. And to be clear, this is Mike's fantasy, nothing more. Okay, there's literally no anything about this from this is developer hat off. This is Mike hat on. I would love to see classes be less uniform. So like, we see that there's like all the classes unlock abilities through character level and then through their passives. Oh, Mike. Unlock character through their character level and passives, and then through like these ones and how they unlock skills is like sort of uniform for every class, right? And the spread on what those are is kind of uniform for every class. I'd love to see some classes maybe get their abilities from like which weapon type is equipped, or I don't know, just like different ways of interacting with the systems. Maybe there's one class that doesn't have any mastery at all, or one class that picks from other masteries, or one, you know, like where the way that the like the structure of the class itself isn't so uniform. That's something that I'd love to see. I think it'd be a lot harder to balance, and there's a little bit more time and more complexity in the tutorialization. I don't know if it adds that much depth, but I'd really like to see something like that. I think it would leave room for more extreme class features. That's what I'm getting at. So like like basically these rings right here, these like passive bonuses, I think those could be more unique and more interesting if there was more distinction between the classes in general. Nothing. Shenanigans. All right. Oh, we're a little bit behind here. I should pick up the pace of question answering. We were a little slow at the start, so I was taking my time, and I got caught up in the plan of the game. All right, because I would love some more magic-ish base types. Would fans or chakrams work? Yeah, fans I think is more likely. The whole like, I think that fits kind of in the rogue theming more than anything. And chakrams are already part of shurikens. If you don't know, there's shurikens and chakram right here. So I would love to see more weapon types in general. And it's funny, we were talking about like different throwing options in abilities recently, and it's hard to pick out unique ones. And there's some funny options that I hope we make into MTX later. The deadliest of all throwing weapons, as wielded by many a grandmothers. All right. Ooh, another egg. Yeah, give me that egg. Is there anything here that's 0 LP? No. Carp. Yeah. This, sure, why not? All right. That's a good idea. Just look over there for a second. Yeah, fans chakrams for magic weapons. It's kind of this idea of like anything can be imbued with magic, but I think that a magic weapon, like a weapon that gives you magic power, needs to generally not be something that would deal physical damage itself. Like if you swung a wand at someone, it's like the wand hitting someone in the face is not really going to do much damage, right? Like it's a twig that hits you in the face. Ow, you poke someone's eye out with that, that sort of thing. And I think that's a lot of where the theming comes from. In a weapon category anyways.
Easy. Too easy.
Like fans almost feel like a relic in a way. Or if they're going to be a weapon, like a bladed fan, in which case you're like looking more rogue theming, I think. Okay, more questions. Hey Mike, as always, you're amazing. Aw, thank you. Flattery will get you everywhere. let me answer this question especially good for you. ARPGs are very goal oriented, and I probably should have read the question before promising that, shouldn't I? ARPGs are very goal oriented, and as a player, you should have a goal every time you log in. Getting spicy on screen. Okay, you should have a goal every time you log in. A part of adding longevity into a season is chasing a goal. We have a loot filter. Do you think it would be possible to have some sort of customizable quest marker as well? Like a checklist players maybe already have on the side or in their mind where the game could also track them and their progress, I assume. I think that's that's a cool idea. So like basically a way you could have custom quest entries. Essentially is what we're talking about here. Hotkeys. Like being able to add custom things in here so you could like track the individual things through pinning them. Is essentially what we're talking about. I think that's a cool idea. I think there's assigning those on controller is tough. You'd have to have like specific ones that you could like templates that you could pick from. Like this feels kind of like just like a sticky note on the desk, I think, because you couldn't have the game automatically track it very well. But we do like to build in tools that you are getting from elsewhere into the actual game itself. I think it's a cool idea. I don't know how we would implement it. Excuse me. Do you have any off-the-wall item or skill ideas that may not make it into the game? Yeah. Mostly ones I'm still holding out hope for. Like weapon swap mechanics is one of the ones that I've been very vocal about wanting and have not got, which is frustrating me. Back tying into the like what I would do in LE2, one of the classes that I would have would be like having it be very like different class mechanics. I feel like having one of them be focused around having many different weapon loadouts simultaneously would be really great. Have like 3 options, 4 options. Kind of go wild with it. Like there's a different sword for every situation. I think that'd be a ton of fun. Hey. That'll be a singularity, yep. This is my first time playing LE Leagues. The game feels great. Love it. The only thing that's bothering me is that you guys have put chains on build creation. Oh, like, I see what this is like. You're saying there's like restrictions on like character customization? I think that's what it's asking for. Yeah, it's something that we're interested in doing. It's just it's a heavy production requirement thing that doesn't change gameplay that much. So it's tricky to fit into the build time, the production pipeline. Do you guys hire remote employees? We exclusively hire remote employees. We don't have an office. Every single person that works at LE is remote. I mean, technically, I guess one person's not remote. In a weird way, kinda. But yeah, we're an entirely remote company all over the world. Like throw a dart at a map and you're probably gonna hit a country that someone lives in that works on last Epoch. Ooh. Definitely way more than half the world's landmass is countries where someone works on last Epoch from. Mostly because we've got the big three. All right. We do run on a mostly North American timetable though. We do have employees that don't work specifically North American hours. But the vast majority of like meetings happen in like a North America 9 to 5 timing area. So there's a lot of people that work in Europe that stay up really late to work and they basically have mornings off type thing. And then there's people that live in like Oceania that get up really early or stay up really late. I don't know. Yes, there's as long as people can either have jobs that don't require you to be in meetings with everyone or are able to get into the meeting times with everyone else, it works. Oh my goodness me. Okay, let's actually take this seriously because I think it's not going to go well otherwise. I don't know why I didn't see that one. Barely got me. Other than the Lich rework, any plans to adjust and improve other class passives? Oh, a lot of questions here. Okay, we're gonna take a little break from me trying to kill stuff, and I'm gonna try and hammer out some questions. Other than the Lich rework, any plans to adjust and improve other class passives? Yeah, there's Necromancer and Lich will see the most changes on their passive trees in season 3. So like specifically in passive trees. You'll see the most changes on Lich and Necromancer. You'll see other changes elsewhere, but like the big ones, we like to do a lot of the like adding a lot of these threshold point nodes all kind of at the same time, and so we're hitting those into Lich and Necromancer mostly this patch. Hi, how long will it be for season? But other classes are getting stuff too. But how long will it be for season 3? Is it going to be as much as last season? No. Are you going to have more tight schedule for each season? Yeah, this one's coming a lot faster than last season. A lot faster than last season. that's not a hard bar to hit though. Ooh. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to. I just died, but I only have one today. I feel bad. Sorry. We're gonna throw this up here. Here's a little season 3 teaser. What we got. I wonder what it could be. Can we please add a confirmation screen to the banish button? I accidentally banished the only Omni I found all season. Oh, that sucks. That's a tricky one because it's happening in a combat zone. It's harder to add confirmations for timing. It's why there's no confirmation on portaling out, which can happen accidentally really easily too. I think it would be nice to have that option. it's tricky. We have so many game options on how things function, and every time we add one more, it makes like it just increases that complexity a little bit in the systems. And yeah, I think having an undo option would be like having a way to having a way to get back at banished might be better. Like something like, oh, I banished the last one. There's like an altar you can go to that just like undoes the banishment or something. Will season 3 have a seasonal mechanic? Also Barbarian when? Yeah, there's seasonal stuff coming. Not in the same. This question is tough to answer because seasonal mechanic can mean a few things. I don't think that there's. It depends on the definition of seasonal mechanic. Yes, there's new mechanics coming this season. There are things that are probably going to stick around long term, so they're not going to go away at the end of the season. I understand the strictest definition of a seasonal mechanic, probably not. But there's going to be lots of new stuff to do. Yeah. So, like, yes, but it won't meet all the criteria for being a seasonal mechanic, I guess. It's hard to explain. Also, Barbarian when? No information, sorry. Would love to do it soon. It's a Barbarian Ranger are the two that I'm like, which one do I want more? I don't know. And they both kind of fit in that same, like, extra mastery. Maybe that's the thing, like, remember saying, like having asymmetric classes and how they function? Maybe one of them can have, like, 8 masteries, you know? This is our pie in the sky Mike's last Epoch 2. Is it a bug that the stash doesn't always open to the last tab viewed? If not, how is the tab shown on the stash open determined? I actually know this. I would say it is not a bug because it's working exactly how it was coded. It was just coded kind of naively. It opens the, and I can say that because it was me. I can make fun of myself. It's okay. Let me move myself over here so you can see my face. See my face. It is the last tab that you have edited. Okay, let's do this here. Do this. How's that? Cool. It's the exciting parts. So if we go in here and we opened up to this the last stash tab we made, which is this one. So if we come in here to season 1, let's edit this. We're not going to actually change anything. We'll go to 11 and close it. We open, we're on 1. Go to 4, close it, open, we're on 1. If we edit 6 and don't even change anything, let's go to 10, close it, on 6 still. Even go to another one, still on 6. So it's the last one you've edited. If you want to pick a tab to be the one that's going to be open when you open the stash again, just right click on it and click confirm. And then the next time you open the stash tab, it'll be on that tab. Hope that helped. And apparently it resets if you relog, which makes sense. This is part of the, so there's a big document that we've been working on that I started a couple weeks ago about stash upgrades. And one of the things that I want to put in there is, there's two things that I want to put. I want to put a way for you to, in this thing here, I'd like there to be a tick box that's like default tab to open. And it's just that you pick which tab opens when you open your stash. So you just pick it. And then a second button that says default egg tab. So it would pick which, so you could be like, whenever I go to an nemesis egg, you'd be like, I want this tab to open. And you pick two different tabs. One's a normal stash opening tab, one's a nemesis egg opening tab. And I mean, I feel like you could even go a step further and be like, your sell tab as well. So like if you're in Merchant's Guild, having one that you open for Merchant's Guild sell. I think those are all things that you could do. Turtle tab. Thanks, Kane. Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of things you could, like different ways that you can open the stash tab, and you could have different tab priorities for each one of those. I think it'd be pretty easy to do. Any plans to expand the regex or better highlighting when searching the stash? Yes, this is also in that same list of stuff we're gonna be looking at. I don't know all the, like the document we've been working on is a very pie in the sky everything type thing, and we're gonna bang out what we can. But you know, we are always looking for ways to improve stashing because there's a lot of mechanical stuff happening there. If I have dot reduction from armor on my gloves as a stat and as an affix, are they additive or multiplicative with each other? Additive. I think. Should be. Reduced damage over time, or applies to. Armor applies. Kane's confirming additive max to 100. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, doesn't matter. Armor's probably with you in that sense, as it should be. All right, quick question, Mr. Mike. Does COF affect Turtle? Because something, it makes items be COF bound, so that's why I think it is affected. Interesting. I would have said no, but the fact that it does tag it, usually it only tags it if it's done something to it. If it's tagged, yeah, it must have affected it in some way. That's one I'll have to look up, I'm sorry. In the recent PoE 2 interview with Jonathan, he spoke about how different games calculating the angle and direction at which skills would fire, saying that he assumed everyone did it by measuring from the feet of the character. After doing some research, he found that different games did it differently and said that LE measures from the knees of the character. There's a specific reason for that. I did not know it was from the knees. Are we sure that's from the knees? That's cool. If you'd asked me where it measured from, I would say it either measures from 1.1 meters off the ground, which is our standard vertical offset for ability targeting, or it measures from the ground at 0. So either y equals 0 or y equals 1.1. That's where I think all the measurements happen from. And 1.1 is basically the height that where the bow is. This one's at 1.1. You can see that's the height where the Heartseeker line is starting when I'm doing on the side here like this. That's 1.1. Really, it's from the knees. I'd want to look that up. That's wild. Cause yeah, like this, the offset we use, the vertical offset we use is 1.1 for everything. It's either 0 or 1.1. That's an actual like constant in the code that you could just call like vertical offset, and it's the same constant no matter what everywhere. Anyways, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna see where that is. I think it's from the feet. When are we likely to see an expansion to the campaign? Sooner than you might think. After you complete skill number for each class and mastery, are you adding more and more skills? So there's not really a fixed number of skills per class. This is this whole idea of having like a little bit more diversity in like skill options, I guess, or class options, and something that we've been toying with a little bit. So if we look at, just because it's easier to pull the mage one from LE Tools, thank you very much. We already have an extra one right here. So every other class only has 4, and there's an extra 5th one here in mage. It's actually actually Frostclaw. That's the extra one. And so there's no fixed limit. There's room for more here, another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here. Like we can change the layout of the panel. Like there's room for more to go all over the place. And it's like it's the same as in passives. Oh my god, do I have something on the screen? Oh, I don't. Good. Whew. I thought I messed up there. It's fine though. Like there's room to put more of these, and one behind the thing that's there to the right. But there's room for more abilities to go here, and we could bring them up into the tree as well if we wanted to. So it is designed so that there's room for more, and I don't want you to think that there's a limit on how many we can put in. We are going to keep adding more and more and more. Would it be possible to add a multiplayer revival system? When you die in multiplayer and re-enter the map by teleporting to a player, all the loot on the ground disappears and doesn't follow you to the monolith chest area. It would be nice to recover items if an ally survives the encounter. I agree, it would be really nice. And we basically have something similar already for your companions when they get downed. And that's the sort of thing that we are definitely interested in doing. I don't have a... I don't think this is... Some people are interested in doing this, I should say that. We probably don't have any specific plans to do this at the moment. Thoughts on a PvP zone? Oh my god, I would love PvP zone. PvP is something that I would like. LE2 feature in Mike's LE2. That's not being made, just to be clear. Mike's LE2, like, you know, Sid Meier's Civilization 6, Sid Meier's, yeah. This is the most arrogant thing I've ever said. Oh, Mike. Okay. PvP would be in there if I was making an LE2 for myself. PvP would be in there. I love PvP stuff. Terrible at it. Love it. Oh no. Change. Keep current. Selection. We want fire damage out of this. Thoughts on the PvP zone? Scaled damage down. People will look forward to building PvP builds like D2 and D4. Yeah, I think that there's tons of fun for PvP. There's a lot of abilities that we'd have to change how they function. Like snap freeze could not exist in PvP the way it is now. And you know, there's almost some stuff like having special armor types that you can wear in PvP only, that it's like crazy strong defense or something like that, that only applies to player damage or only wearable in a PvP zone or something like that. Kind of take the WoW route with it. But yeah, I'd love to do it. I think it's fantastic. It's not something we're actively working on, but some of the most fun we've ever had in last Epoch in early multiplayer development was when we didn't have the alignment system functioning in multiplayer and you could kill each other. That was a ton of fun. A ton of fun.
Yes.
Are there plans to separate the NPC voice volume from the enemy guards? I find myself turning down voice volume a little bit, quiet enemy guards, but then can't hear the NPC boss dialogue. Not specifically, but if you put that in the suggestions channel, there's a decent chance of something like that getting added. I know the sound designers are frequently looking to add more channels and further split these things out. It's a like, oh my goodness, where's the settings? It's a complexity thing. Like we're the more channels we split this out to, the more complexity it gives. And I'd almost like to see a like advanced option where, like, I don't know, there's like a voice volume, and then if you tick like advanced, it like splits it into like 3 different types of voice volumes, or like player voice volume and NPC voice volume and enemy voice volume or something like that. And like it's one of those, it's another one of those, like, all the suggestions and all the option ideas are great, and we can add too many and it becomes an issue because the complexity of interacting with it as a player isn't necessarily worth the benefit you get from that granularity. But I would love to see it. Right, any chance to see in the future global skill trees that you can mix in your class, like replace one of those 3 subclasses with one global? Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. I think that if we were gonna do that, I think the way that gets added is through an item. I think that's the way that we do that. I think you put the skill on the item. We figured out how to do that recently. We haven't done it on any items. I don't know if we'll actually do it or when we'll do it, if we do it. But yeah, I think it would be like a ring that gives you fireball, but wouldn't be fireball because we already have fireball in the game. But you know what I mean? Like, I think it would have to be on an item, especially for being able to give the damage type and scaling for that damage to a player that doesn't have that damage in the class by default already. So if we were like a staff that grants the ability Void Laser, we kind of do this already with some of the Void theming items that exist. with non-specialized triggerable void skills, where it would need to scale like void damage off of your int or something like that, and some way that the item gives it so you can actually incorporate this different damage type into your build on a class that doesn't have void damage support in your passive. Get back here. Get back here. Ooh, no. Okay, more questions, Mike. Keep answering. Keep talking. Last Epoch Season 3 and the Acolyte rework. More Lich Necromancer adjustments. Do you personally envision the Acolyte to be more of a Dark Wizard, Blood and Bones, or Necromancer, or something completely new? Maybe Voodoo? Probably not in the Voodoo category too much. But yeah, we are leaning into the themes that it already has, and more just giving more options, and yeah, really just fleshing out what's already there as far as theming goes. I had a question. I sanded the season, but the exalted drops have surely changed. I dropped less than before in season 1, and Uber Aberoth is much too hard. There should be an in between for season 3. Yeah, so any RNG system like this, it's always possible to have the average chance to receive items go up, and have individual players amount of items that they get go down. Opposite of this is an example. Actually, this actually is an example. So like let's use PoE2 as an example. The beta dropped, the early access dropped, whatever we're calling it, sorry. And I had a brutal time. I couldn't find an item to save my life. Like it was absolutely insane. I was having the worst luck. Other people I was playing with at the time were talking about the gear they were finding, and I'm like, I've ground for so many hours and found nothing. And then season 2, the second season happened, and the big update happened, and like all the items finding all stuff was nerfed into the ground, and everyone couldn't find anything. And I'm like, I'm finding 10 times the gear all of a sudden. Like my item acquisition went through the roof. So just completely opposite of what everyone else was experiencing, the difference. So I think that there's room for it to happen both ways, and I'm sorry if you're having less item drops this time. The average item drop rate definitely went up from season 1 to season 2. Oh, Mike's not drinking enough water. I think we've been power creeping the player a little bit, and I don't think that's really necessarily a bad thing. It's just how
Easy. Too easy.
we make sure we do it intentionally, with intentionality, so it's not just like loot for everyone. And Uber Aberoth is definitely designed to be an extreme challenge, like a really extreme challenge. And it might be too extreme. I don't know. And we are looking at adding more bosses. All right. Can we have visual ground cues for flamethrower, poison, spit, etc. abilities for Shades of Orbis? The regular mobs with those abilities have them. Good idea. I don't see why not. Drop it in the suggestions channel on our Discord. Sure, that's something we can look into. At least. I want to go for that. Great loot for a rogue? That's me. Any plans for last Epoch on Linux? We see it. So we have a Proton build, and we did have a native build for quite a while. And I think we were just getting way worse performance than on the Proton build in general, so we pulled the native one so that people who were playing wouldn't accidentally get the worst version. But I know that's not been true for everyone, and so like some people have been asking for the Linux one to come back. It is possible. I don't think there's any specific plans for it, but yeah, if you're looking for it, suggestions channel. It does, like, the more versions we are maintaining, you know, it's more work. Updates go out slower, so it's this give and take of having these extra versions or not. But it is probably a positive thing to have it, I think, overall. Here's a fun little trick. You see, these are like trying to talk about stuff, and well, they're here properly now. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Okay. I really do need to set up my loot filter better to accomplish what I'm getting. Go this way. That's what we put here. Howdy, hello. Probably gonna stop taking questions in about 5 minutes or so, just because I'm a little bit behind still. So if you have a question, you want to get it in, please get it in now. Any plans, or howdy, any plans for boss nodes in the web that don't require a woven echo? Boss nodes in the web don't require, like just spawning on their own. For example, a node would be something like kill X amount of enemies to reveal a portal to a boss. That way you don't have to find a woven echo like the Antipode Rift, or have us or spam envies to get a boss fight here and there. These would be new bosses and not like, oh, you get to fight Lagan randomly. Yeah, I mean, we do put mini bosses in this situation already. But yeah, I think there's room for stuff like that for sure. Yeah, I think having it in a system where you could like affect how that boss was appearing, like, would be nice. All right, I tried to come up with 2 weeks ago when people asked for Paragon boards. Could it be possible to get more Weaver Tree board layouts, such as some focused specifically on monos, dungeon, mages, nemesis, etc., so we as a player can more specialize the way we want to play. I mean, that's kind of what the Woven Echo board is, right? I guess like you're saying like one specifically for dungeons, like having a dungeon board. Yeah, there is a bit of a risk in having too many boards, and having them like this is the whole like depth complexity argument again, right? I think there's probably room for it. I kind of like it being in one place. I don't know. That's definitely like nothing to do with the Paragon system, is it? Be real here. I have not played Diablo 4 much. Maybe they changed it significantly to be where that is more what it is like in Diablo 4. Or maybe we're just like talking about something completely different, which is fine too. I need to have a better character so I can pay less attention to the game. All right, will Warlock and Necro get some love in season 3? More Necro than Warlock for sure. Warlock's pretty good right now. It's got lots of depth and is quite strong and all that sort of stuff. And are you planning to address snapshotting in season 3? God, I sure hope so. Maybe add a new inventory for minions. Oh, obviously. Where you can imprint items that are used for summoning. That would add a lot of depth to theory crafting. So this is like formalizing snapshotting. I think we want to go the opposite direction with it. We don't want to formalize snapshotting. We want to remove snapshotting. So that's the idea you're suggesting there is basically take minion stats off of gear completely and putting a minion gear set in place, which is kind of like the theming on that is much more manifest armor than necromancer minions, big time. And like I've considered, we've definitely discussed having that specifically as an option. Like we're not doing this, but we've discussed having like in the, I know this isn't the right tree, but in the skill tree for manifest armor, having like a gear set where you can like build it in there. Like we've talked about doing that. So I think there's room for mechanics like that in the weird world where the classes are even differenter than they are now, type thing. Yes, right, differenter. Let's go for a amulet. Can we buy anything for 50? Oh yeah, okay. Let's do chest. Still sweet. Not what we're looking for. Oh, that's nice actually. Cool. That's what we're using. We're going to be using. We're cutting off questions. That's it. No more questions. Questions done. But I will be answering the stockpile of 26 questions that I have waiting for me here. So lots of questions to be answered still. I'll get through as many of them as I can. What is snapshotting? Snapshotting is currently if you have gear on that says increased minion damage, and you summon a minion, that minion gets increased damage. And then if you take that item off, that minion keeps its stats, so you can then put gear on that helps you as a player instead. So you can put like tons of minion abilities on your gear, summon your minions, and then put a bunch of defensive stuff on for yourself to keep yourself alive, but your minions keep their stats that they were summoned with. So it's taking a snapshot of your gear when you summon the minion, and the minion doesn't care about the new updates to your gear as you equip new things. It's really bad. We don't want it. We're trying to get rid of it. We've been trying to get rid of it for years. There's like the Falcon. The Falcon doesn't snapshot. It does, but we have lots of tricks that we do in the Falcon to make the snapshotting not work on the Falcon. We want to extend that so that every class minion doesn't snapshot. All right. And the obvious question is, every time I mention this, you got to buff minions to compensate for it, because they're only functional at all because of snapshotting right now. And yes, we know this. Has a 4 LP red ring ever dropped? I don't know. I really would. If someone said it did, I would be like, all right, video proof in online mode with streaming witnesses, or it didn't happen type thing. You know, that's how rare that is. Oh, all right. Hey, Mike and Kate. Just want to say that the cycle is wonderful. Thank you. I don't think I've ever played an LE update that much. And to Mike specifically, thanks for answering all my questions on Discord. I've been asking a lot of them, and I appreciate the time you spend on there a lot. Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry. I've been pretty bad about it lately. Actually, I've not been answering questions as well as I should be. So big thank you to Justin and Cyborg for stepping in and answering a bunch of those for me. Appreciate those, and the other mods that are on there as well, doing a great job. Really appreciate y'all. Alright. Next question. Last Epoch. I'd love to be able to see my custom loot filter colors as borders around the item in the inventory. Yeah, that would be nice. It doesn't. We tried. It doesn't work. It's the short answer. We might be able to in the future, but we don't have a way of doing it easily. Maybe an option to sort by loot filter rule. Would you consider adding something like this? Yeah, we've tried both of these, and basically we don't have a way to do it performantly enough, and the stash and inventory just lag out completely, and it's really terrible. Is the short answer as to why not? Firing into the void like, ah. Oh my god, stuff. Just pick it up and go. Fight. Are more sets coming in season 3? I don't think so, but it's not too late. Any plans on making us able to ban monster types from spawning? Probably not. I'm gonna say no. All right. How do you determine if something is overtuned? Is the metric player-based percentage of people playing X mastery or the game-based corruption levels reached, for example? It has to do. But those are both contributing factors, but neither of them are like explicit factors. So if there's no hard fast rule of like, okay, if X percentage of players are playing this build, therefore it is overtuned and needs to be nerfed. You know, and there's no like this build has managed to reach this corruption and therefore is overtuned and needs to be nerfed. Like there's no hard explicit numbers there. I think that frequently the most powerful thing is the most popular thing. I think that's kind of a natural thing to happen because players want to play the most powerful thing. Like efficiency is kind of the name of the game here, and people gravitate towards the most powerful thing to make because it's the most efficient. However, there's always situations where certain builds are more popular than they are powerful. Like that ratio is different. Each ability based on like how strong the theming is, how fun the gameplay is. So like there's reasons why that wouldn't line up directly, and so we don't have hard fast rules about it. I think extreme outliers are cases to be looked at, and design figures out the best way to handle those outliers. Because having something be dramatically overplayed or like popularly played may not have anything to do with it being overpowered. It could just be really fun and people just like it. And making something worse because people just like it and it's fun, that's a bad idea, you know? Hot takes by Mike. Making things worse that people find fun is bad. Oh no. Sorry. Are there any plans to change the rune complex experimental crafting, requiring an open prefix and getting a random tier that cannot be altered? Hasn't been all that great. Maybe changing an existing affix to an experimental with the same tier would make it more viable, or be straight up overkill, but I don't have any other ideas. Yeah, so that's actually an option we considered at first, but yes, it was overkill, so we couldn't do it. So welcome to the same process path we went down. There's probably room for some adjustments there. I don't know what a good one is. I'm sorry. Sure. What determines a build's success for EHG? What level does it have to be capable of for you to consider it to be successful, overtuned, undertuned? Yeah, this is again, there's not like a hard line rule here. And you know, I think it's the system as a whole is successful if some builds are better than others, and some builds are able to do things that other builds aren't able to do. Like if a build is, if there's like a build that is unable to do Uberoth, that's fine. That's not like suddenly this build is, oh no. So I think like, I think regular Aberoth is probably that line of like any build archetype, any build theme, any build style generally that's like a reasonable one that we've clearly signposted. Any build archetype that we've signposted tools for, that we're saying like, hey, this is a good idea, it can work, should probably be able to do regular Aberoth with near perfect gear. Like when I say near perfect, like near reasonably perfect gear. So like if you're trying to play a fire mage with extremely good gear, you should be able to kill normal Aberoth. I think that's sort of a good benchmark in general. But like if you're saying, okay, I'm gonna play a melee necrotic character, a melee necrotic mage, where there's almost zero signposted support for that, I don't think that should be able to kill Aberoth. I think that would be kind of crazy. So yeah, I think it depends on, you know, like how out there the build is really to determine if it was successful or not. Like a melee necrotic mage, having that be successful, I think would be like, did you complete normal monoliths? That build was successful. So So yeah, it's a tricky question to answer. I think in general, most logical builds should be able to handle regular Aberon. If they're like well constructed, without any sort of insane over the top restrictions, with high quality gear, that sort of stuff. And sometimes high quality gear is harder to get on some classes than others, some builds than others. So like certain builds will also, I think that's another thing that should be clarified as well. Certain builds will be able to hit that minimum threshold for gear to be able to complete content much faster than others. And smoothing that out is something we do try to do in balancing quite a bit. You've got the range, you might as well use it. Yes, welcome. Welcome.
Freedom at last. Gone.
Oh my goodness, no. Okay, we're good. We're good. It's fine. No one panic. No one freak out. It's fine. All right. I love crafting this game. I think you totally nailed it. Question. Are any new crafting mechanics or runes or glyphs coming? Yes. And what do you think about glyph which can protect certain affixes when you are crafting? Protect certain affixes. Well, so glyphs affect the craft that's happening. So I guess you could have like a glyph of no touchy the prefixes, a glyph of no touchy the suffixes. I think that'd be cool. Like a glyph of only affect prefixes. So you could like, if you're gonna rune of removal something, you can be like, all right, don't touch your prefixes or don't touch your suffixes. That'd be sweet. You could even have like a don't touch the prefixes if it like is gonna critical success or something. But you don't want it to increase the, I guess the only time that really matters is when you've got a glyph in already. Yeah, there's definitely room for stuff there. Exactly how we do that, I don't know. I've pitched so many runes and glyphs. I've lost count how many I've pitched, and I think I've gotten like 2 approved ever. Is there any plans to add more reforged affixes for each set pieces? Maybe that's something that we definitely left space for. And there's certain set items that we were like, do we put 2 affixes into this, 2 reforged affixes into the set system right away, and we restricted it to 1. So there's definitely some set pieces that we already have ideas for additional set reforged set affixes that we would add for that piece. So that's definitely possible. And if you have suffixes and having both for each set piece would add more flexibility to the system and allow more customization when making builds. Yes, absolutely. That was the other thing. We initially were like, do we do a prefix and a suffix for every single one? And then we're like, we have 1 day to implement this. Nope, everyone gets 1. That's kind of how that conversation went. But yes, there is a prefix and prefix or a suffix for everyone that was designed, and in a lot of cases, a prefix and a suffix that was designed. Bringing the rest of those out is still possible, but definitely not guaranteed. Some of them we were like, here's these 4 affixes that we want to use, and we'll put 2 of them on this prefix and 2 of them on this suffix type thing. And in some cases we were like, okay, we really want to have half of each of these, so we took half of each of the 2 affixes that we would have put in and made it into 1. And so in some cases, you'd actually see us re-splitting those out. So we would change existing ones at the same time in some cases. Usually that's on a set item where the theming is kind of split on what it can do, where it's like, it'll be themed around like throwing and block. And so we'll do, the affix would have like a throwing version of the affix and a block version of the affix instead of both. All right. right, thoughts on adding a skill that scales with strength that allows you to pick up a mob and jump, slam it into the ground, dealing more damage and AoE based on the size of the mob used. Bigger mobs will require more strength to pick up. If no mobs are used, your character pulls out a big boulder out of the ground. I love it. I absolutely love it. It causes problems on the server. I don't think we can do it. I'm sorry. I'll try. Put it in the suggestions channel. Absolutely love it. You can't really do it to bosses either, because there's a lot of the movement is scripted for bosses that you can't really put that in. And as soon as an ability is not really functional against a boss, it kind of loses a lot of its momentum in the design discussions. Ooh, let's go back for that. It's a dagger. Not what I thought I saw. All right. Any interest in adding a private league system that would be able to restart within seasons? Yeah, it'd be great. And even throwing mods to increase difficulty, yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. We don't have anything like that set up or like specifically planned yet. It's the sort of thing that we're kind of like, yeah, we'd love to do it. Let's find some time in the next little while to try. Did it really drop like nothing? Ah, that's frustrating. Like nothing. Well. Any plans to let us complete our builds with full LP and T7 in average time of 2 to 3 months before next season? Because I feel the meaning of LP equals long play, but it's a huge non-enjoyable loophole. I mean, okay, so I think they meant to be like loot hole. I mean, loophole seems weird. Anyways, I think this is an expectations thing. So one of the primary functions of the legendary system in general is to increase the variety, increase the viability of low tier unique items into endgame. And if the expectation is that any unique can have high amounts of LP with high T7 affixes slammed onto it, it's kind of a disconnect in the like player expectations and the game expectations. And I guess that's more on us to clarify better what's like expected to be possible. I keep every time this type of conversation comes up, I always ask the question and I always get the same answer, which like I understand that it's kind of like me not getting this, and I still don't understand why. And it's I don't know why I don't know why. Anyone can help me, I'd love it. Is that like if we were to set a hard limit on these items, say like, okay, this item it's functionally impossible to get over 2 LP on this unique, so let's just make it actually impossible to get over 2 LP on the unique. Does that solve the system? And the answer I invariably get is no, it doesn't. And I don't understand why it doesn't solve the system, because it makes the perfect item the 2 LP version. Like it's the perfect item. There's no way to get any higher than it. And because that seems like that's the general goal, is to get perfect gear. And so if you make perfect possible instead of functionally impossible but technically possible, does that I would think it would solve the problem. Lizard's on my side. Lizard, I think you're the first person that's agreed with me on this one. Probably not actually, but it feels that way sometimes. I think the big problem with it though is that like having the hey, maybe it could drop, and seeing that random one that shows up on Reddit and seeing that random one that shows up in the auction house, it's so cool when that moment happens and you're like, hey, look, it is possible. So I don't know. There's something there. Maybe we list it as, we do both. We list it as impossible. We say it's not possible. We say it just can't happen, and then and then leave it as actually being possible, and then it shows up and it's like, it looks like it's a bug. That's the evil way. All right, next question. I gotta do these faster because I only have 10 minutes left and 16 questions. Hello, how do you decide which skills get unique set idols mods? It feels disappointing wanting to play a skill that gets no support, like Black Hole, for example. Yeah, Black Hole Black Hole's a special case. There's plans for Black Hole. They're very long-term plans for Black Hole. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but there are very clear paths for Black Hole. Everything else, every other skill, usually it's just whatever's missing it. It's one of the main places we look to add things to. Hey, any planned rework for Dark Quiver? It feels like a must-have skill for most rogues, but yet it's clunky to play. Yes, so I don't think... I think a full rework's probably not going to happen, but I think there's subtle changes that can fix it. And I think that adding where you can now pick up 3 at a time made a huge difference for how good it feels to play. There's 2 other things I'd love to see for it, where picking up 1 resets the existing ones, and the use duration, that attack animation for using it, and having that scale off attack speed. I think those 2 things would have a huge impact on how it feels to play. So I really want to do that and see what happens. There's also a few things that I know are coming for it that are going to be sweet. Having a bigger pickup radius as well. A little bit bigger pickup radius, a little bit more bright on where they are physically sitting, faster attack to use them initially, and have picking up 1-up reset all of them. I think those things would make it... It's not really a rework, it's just sort of like a feels better version. Yeah. Can we... And I have no idea if any of that's going to happen, but I'd love to. Specifically, that's my feelings of having played it all season. Can we have a minimap markers for emphasized filter items? It's on the list. Don't know when it's going to happen, but it's on the list. Any news for right click to move? No, but it does come up every once in a while. Put it in the suggestions channel. It's possible. We are looking at more things like this. How much of season 2 mechanics and content will stay or be part of legacy for future seasons? Yes. Translation, all of it. I would like to play your LE in 3 monitors, but the side information is too far. Can I have some HUD position adjustments, please? Yeah, like ultra wide positions. So like where you have the ultra wide stuff, but the menus still like the side menus still show up relatively close to the center. We don't have anything like that planned. I think there's definitely room for that. Another question, is there any information on other elements are converted, complete, or partial? Love the game. Glad you're staying healthy. Also, Plants vs. Zombie mode. I mean, there's literally a Plants vs. Zombie inspired Echo. So if you haven't played that, go play it. Unless that was just smiling about that, which is sweet. More conversions are coming, but they're probably they're still gonna stay in theme for those abilities. So you probably won't see a necrotic conversion for Fireball. Is there any plans to add 1 skills per class on each season you release, or are you limited by resources? There's definitely not plans to add 1 skill per class each season. The next season we'll see a total of 1 new skill total coming. This is where it was probably already asked, so sorry for duplicates, but are there any plans to raise the gold cap? Actually, it hasn't been asked yet this stream, and no, there aren't any plans at the moment, but there could be suggestion channel if you want to see it. I'm rattling through this because I'm running out of time. Are you considering the scale down of loot quantity? Sorry if you already answered this. Probably not. I think that the fact that we still drop like the fact that this item still drops at level 100 zone. Like, why are we still dropping this item, right? I think that sort of stuff is, probably something to look at. Are you considering... All right, it's that. Do you believe that there are... Oh, I missed the question. Sorry, I misread the question. Is there any information on the order elements are converted? It is... If there's a conflict, it usually goes in this order here. So, like... crap, I don't remember the order. Usually it's like, this is the most important one, this is the second most important. Like, it happens as fire, lightning, cold, like it goes down the line. That's like the order it happens in. We are done taking new questions. I'm seeing new questions show up in chat. I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to get to them. I'll do my best. Do you believe that there could be a way to manipulate bases in any way? Say converting from hide gloves low tier to an eternal gauntlet high tier. We've talked about doing this. It does fundamentally change the items quite a lot. And it's we've intentionally steered away from this. We don't have any plans to do it. It's not impossible. So far, I have been playing Rogue. Wondrous choice. And it's rough trying to climb higher corruption when getting mobbed. And a single hit is guaranteed stun lock, especially with multiple champs. In my opinion, defense-centric gameplay is more fun by letting us interact with the game rather than nuking packs, screen clearing them to survive. Any thoughts? Yeah, I think yes. no rebuttal, so to speak. There are tools that you can in your build crafting that you can go for to help alleviate this issue, like getting higher defenses in your stats. Like you might be leaning too much into a glass cannon type build, which is causing you to get stun locked and not be able to take hits. There are ways you can, if stun specifically is the big problem for you, there are ways you can get the ability to not be stunned. It should be impossible to be stun locked, like just in general, like right out of the gate. It should be impossible to be stun locked. Because like characters, it's like you like every character has like a built-in stun lock prevention on them. Yeah. All right. Hello. Any plan to I assume to buff the half wave reach of arena key memory, or have a third arena key? Oh, just like a stronger starting point for the arena waves. Probably not. We don't have any plans for that. It is technically possible. We could put any number there we want. Thoughts on scaling potion pickup range with their drop chance? Ooh, probably not scaling with the drop chance. I think that's one of those things that kind of has to be static. That range. I could be wrong on that. Using items with potion synergy feels clunky at the moment. Yeah, it's. I could see increasing it slightly. I think we did just increase it. So the last question was here. Will you consider weapon swapping? I've been banging that drum for years. Not gonna happen. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. Cyborg, too late with your weekly reminder for the character sheet rework. I saw it. It's reminded. Consider myself reminded. Cap LP, having LP uncapped is a huge bait for new players. Also hinders theory crafting. We must have indicator. Hey, this unique has 0 of 2 LP or 2 of 2 LP, and people will instantly know how good it is. I mean, right now it still is. They're all of 4. I don't know. I think this is the big question: is having the what if scenario worth having the possibly mismatched expectations? I don't know. A year ago I would have said absolutely yes. Now I'm like, I don't know, maybe not. Will LE have the same 3-4 month content cycle like PO1 had? PW1 had? That's the plan. That's what we used to do. We're trying to get back to it. Season 3 is looking great. On timing, I can't tell you exactly when yet, but definitely dramatically better than last time. Any chances to make it so that when we have a single minion, it could be huge, like 500% size increase, blot out the sun with your minion? I mean, we do have options for that already. And usually when we have large minions that get multiple versions of them, it reduces their size. So it's not an issue. Like twin golems, for example. And then A-bomb being an example of the gigantic single minion. Yeah, when we have like individual like armies that combine into a single minion, we usually have that size go up quite a bit as well. Yeah, and we have size increases. So like companions have the things where it's like you can only get one minion, but it's larger. So yeah, we definitely do this. Maybe not to that extreme, but it's possible to make them bigger too. A couple more from chat. New magical weapon suggestion: elemental spirits as a weapon. That's interesting. Okay, I like this. Like it's a spirit, like that you're like manipulating a spirit in your hand that's like channeling magic through type thing. Something like that. That could be cool. But the size we currently have is not enough. We need bigger. Okay, I understand. You want bigger is always better, right? All right. Any more questions here trickling in? We got 1 minute left. Are there any plans to make an Aura bot or full support build? We do try to make options for support characters. And if you wanted to play a full support character, we try and give you those tools. Like there's quite a few options you can do already in Paladin, and I'd say Warlock's probably a great option with all the curse stuff. So we do try and have support things. I played a support rogue once. That was a lot of fun. You like give it, you're like crit debuffing, giving out haste to your party, things like that. Giving out dust shrouds. That's a lot of fun. Has there been any plans for changing older / outdated uniques that have been power crept significantly? Easy example would be Apathy's mod versus the new World Splitter. I think there's something to be said for having these stepping stone options still in the game, and I do really like those where you're like, okay, well, as I'm working towards getting my World Splitter, I use my Apathy's mod in the meantime type thing. But yeah, there's especially when they're mechanically unique and the situations they like are build enabling, especially in that situation, yes. And sometimes that just looks like turning down their LPL a little bit so they can get higher LP easier. All right, we are at time. I had a great stream. I hope you all did too. Where are we at? Well, so I will be back same time, same place next week. Happy to answer more of your questions. I hope you had fun. I know I did. If I did not answer your question, I apologize. It was not intentional. I can't get to them all, unfortunately. And I am usually available along with some other staff and mods in our Discord channel. There's an Ask the Devs channel there. If you've got questions you want to ask on why things are the way they are, how the game works, it's a great place to put those questions. If you've got suggestions on things you'd like to see in the game, there's a suggestions channel in Discord as well. That is the absolute best place to put suggestions. We check that all the time for ideas, get lots of great stuff from there. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, let's see what's going on. See what's going on around town. See if we can find someone fun to go talk to. Oh, let's put this up. Oh, Lizard, because you supported me so well in this. Are you still streaming? Yes, you are. Preach. Preach the good word of Max LP. All right, we'll be back next week. Have a great time. Drink lots of water, everybody. See you later. Have fun.